We bought the biggest lorry possible! And we're attempting something that's never been done before. We're building a minigolf course! This, believe it or not, is going to become the first lorry with 9 holes of minigolf in the back of it, plus a functioning reception that might sell drinks. Now, the best part about this whole project is that we're actually going to be giving this whole thing away. Oh! Unlike our previous projects, you actually have a chance to win this thing. We're going to be picking 10 random viewers who submit applications. I'll tell you later on how you can do that. And we're going to get them to compete at the minigolf course. Whoever wins minigolf wins the minigolf lorry. So crazy. This beast right behind me is a DAF CF something. And I know that because I just read it. This used to be owned by the NHS and it is enormous. And by enormous, I mean 60 foot long, which is crazy. I don't know anything about these things and I never planned to, but here we are. So I just want to show you around the outside. I mean, take a look. It has 14 wheels, which is nuts. It has a diesel tank bigger than me and it has a functional tail lift. Look at this thing. After pushing about 100 buttons, somehow this thing went down. I'm just so excited to show you inside. So these are the plans for this lorry minigolf place. The entrance is actually going to be at the back of the trailer. Not really sure why, but I think it just makes the most sense. We don't want to be cutting more holes in this thing than we have to. So we've actually got 2 8-meter trailers, so 16 meters in total. And as you walk in this place, you're going to be greeted with a counter, nice drinks, a reception. Just this is where you're going to pay for minigolf and where you're going to go through into playing it afterwards. And that's going to come to about here. It's 3.5 meters in roughly, but this will probably all change. So then you're going to walk past this area, straight to where Maddie's demonstrating, playing minigolf. That's actually going to be the mystery room, so you're not going to even be able to see in there. It's going to be pretty sick. So we're hoping to fit 9 holes. We're definitely going to fit 9 holes in this space, and we're going to make the best minigolf course ever. It's going to be so sick. It's going to be so sick.
Woohoo! As you can imagine, us idiots were super excited, so what better way to use it than start ripping it apart? Now, as you guys know with most of our projects, we've never ever touched it before. In fact, we never ever been in a lorry. But what we did know is we didn't like the look of these metal things, so they are getting gone. Right now on this project, all that stands between us and the plans we've got are these pesky screws. Now, believe it or not, these metal things do play a vital role in lorry functionings. They're called lorry straps. Put simply, they're just there to strap things down so it doesn't move when driving. And unfortunately for us, these things are everywhere. But they did have their functions. They reminded us how dirty and filthy this lorry actually was.
Yo, what?
But they didn't give up without a fight.
Oh! Ready? This is it. Why is that there? What even is it? It's nothing. There's just wall behind it. Well, that's how clean it's meant to look.
Now, later on in the video, we do give this thing a deep clean. But before we do, I had to get payback on Toby. I've got to admit, it made him look like an absolute melon.
That's out. Oh! So on there. Oh, my leg. What are you reading, Josh? Delivery date, 30th, 07, 2024. Oh, right. That's only been out of service for 1 year. I thought it was weird you were reading. We've got to stop you from reading. Blood transfusion. I don't even want to imagine what's been in here.
Now, we spoke to a lorry guy and got confirmation of what was actually stored in here when it was used. Now, because this thing is actually a fridge lorry, it would have stored most nasty stuff that the NHS need.
Ah, why is it so loud? God, that's years of hooking. Wow. That's crazy. That is crazy. That's actually quite damaged.
Now, here's a fun fact. During COVID time, they actually used these lorries to store COVID patient bodies, and that was purely because they were overwhelmed with patients and had run out of place to store them. However, I can't confirm that this lorry was used for that. All I can do is hope that it wasn't.
Right, so we're in a bit of a predicament. We need to try and make an entrance for this thing. However, we're unsure whether just to get rid of this whole shutter as a whole, or cut a door in the shutter and just screw our door in the hole we cut out. We put a post up online and everyone else is 50-50. So we're just gonna go for it and see what happens. They could fall apart, or it could be genius.
Now, who do you know that's ever cut a hole in a lorry shutter? This is not a normal thing to do. But there's pretty good reason for this madness. You see, these shutters are insanely well insulated. So if this genius plan was to work, it would save us a lot of time and a lot of money. But because we had no idea what this was really made of, we definitely underestimated how long it would take to actually do this. My shoulders were dead, so time for a new strategy. Oh! Oh! Whoa! After busting open a new hole in our lorry, it was time to check him out.
What do you reckon then?
I really like it. I think it looks so good. Once this is actually a full-size door, it literally look perfect.
What's hard work, the one at Tobe?
That was so unbelievably hard.
Let's see how strong that little bit is there then.
I mean, once you have a door in there, it'll be fine.
That won't move because the runners are still in. It's gonna get weaker though.
Why?
Because we're gonna cut more out. And like that. Because they're slotted into each other like cladding.
Yeah.
Like once we take that up to this height here,
Yeah.
it might just be so weak.
I think it's got to go.
Now there's a pretty clear lesson here. Don't put a door in a door. It makes it weaker. With this newfound knowledge, we put to test our expert demolition skills. After spending way too long cutting a useless hole into this thing, trust me, I was the happiest to see this shutter disappear. But of course, this had its own problems.
That's heavy as hell!
Careful, whoa.
That is so heavy! Oh my god.
This turned out to be super heavy, and also it was way too wide to just take off. This meant we had to remove all of these rails that were in the way of the shutters. And this involved taking out hundreds of screws. But luckily they were just flying off. We would have had to remove these anyway because they would have been in the way of the minigolf course. So why not just kill two birds with one stone? Well, it's coming off. Perfect dodge.
Dusty.
That was nearly your leg just gone.
I nearly died.
With this one out of the way, we were left with a little bit of debris, but more importantly, we had two more doors to tackle. For this one, we found ourselves a new strategy. Because this door didn't have any stupid cuts in it, like a shutter should, it actually managed to hold itself together. Now this allowed us just to push it off the guide rails and slowly take them apart like cladding. But it was getting stuck on something, so we pulled this out of the way so we could carry on, and we just got a bit distracted by how grim this was. Now just as we thought we were getting the hang of this...
Every time, it's so scary. All the time.
I have my forearm.
Stuck sideways.
Okay, so we're so close to being at the point where we can jet wash now. We just have the last couple of bits of metal and things to throw out of this place, and then we're so ready for a deep clean. Now we've deep cleaned a lot of things before, but it's still a bit of a shock to the system when you find a whole new color beneath a load of dirt. It's pretty nice that this segment of the conversion doesn't involve us risking any limbs. Now as we were cleaning this, we had a bunch of questions running through our heads. What is this floor made of? How are we gonna put golf ball holes on the floor? And why is this floor such a bright blue? I mean, look at it. Whilst Maddie was jet washing, I hopped back on the phone to Lorry Man, and he told us the floor was basically a thin layer of plastic with some board and then a bit of insulation. And no, he didn't know why it was blue.
One trailer done.
Number 2.
Woohoo! This is gonna be grim. Why?
Nice.
Why? Why has it always got to be this grim? Look! Ugh.
There's always something. With every project, our hygiene expectations get lower and lower, so we scrub hard.
Okie dokie then, so the lorry is all clean, all ready, all empty. It's now time for us to start tackling the walls, ready for us to start making it look pretty afterwards. First stage to making this thing look a little bit prettier is sanding this thing back. After we took the strap rails off this thing, we have now been left with loads of holes that are ugly and just disgusting. So we've essentially got to sand them all back, fill all the divots that were caused by many times trying to hook things into them. We can start figuring out what colour we're going to paint this thing.
As we mentioned earlier on, this lorry is a fridge lorry.
Don't do that at home.
Now that means that all the walls are made out of plastic. There's pros and cons to that. The plastic casing helps reduce moisture and reduce the chance of rotten boards behind it. And a con is, all those holes you created from unscrewing those rails have to be filled.
Look at that! Let me try and pull it off. Oh. God! We should have cut that. So as well as sand all this back, you can see here we've got this rubber silicone that's super sticky around every single hole, and that's because in these lorries they have to have like a plastic paneling and make sure it's 100% water sealed tight. Otherwise water gets behind it and starts damaging the wood and the insulation in the lorry itself. So to prevent mold, we have to sand that all back and reseal every single hole in this place, making sure it's 100% watertight.
Now with P80 grit and a lot of determination, we started rubbing back these walls. As you can see by the floor, we had to get a loan out in order to buy enough sanding pads to sand this thing. However, that wasn't the only problem. The dust that was created by rubbing this back was toxic. So we wore our trusty white masks. Buying the biggest lorry we could find was seeming more like a burden more than anything at this point. I mean, what idiots sand back a lorry? We finished the back cabin and now it was time to move on to the front. While we did that, Maddie popped open the filler.
Like Josh mentioned earlier, it's vital that we fill all the holes to prevent moisture from rotting our lorry. As you can see, I had no idea what I was doing and added way too much hardener. But anyways, I mixed it all together and started smearing it on the walls. After we removed all of the screws in the lorry, there was about 500 holes that needed to be filled, and at the rate I was going, it was going to take me hours.
Alright, that is number one trailer completely finished now. We are moving on to the back stuff. What we're using to do this, we are using this big boy plastic filler. Look at this fat little bloke on it. But essentially, look at him. It's so ugly. Essentially what we're doing is we're just mixing this with the hardener and then smoothing it on the walls. But we're working over here now. This stuff sets so quick, so 3, 2, 1. Alright, that's so much better to have this thing sealed up and pucker. No more water gonna ingress our foam. This above me is a fridge lorry. This, believe it or not, would have kept this whole room at a -5-degree temperature. As you can imagine, we don't want the golf course being -5 degrees. Some people have said in the comments to leave it as aircon. We don't need it. We don't need to be -5 degrees. This is going and getting gone. That's so strong. However, removing one of these things is more dangerous than you think. The fridges in the back won't work or get turned on without one of this thing. An engine for a fridge. Imagine having to rev up your fridge at home every time you want to cool your food down. So essentially, all of this has to go. Each one of these weigh about 300 kilograms. That is taking up too much fuel when we're driving this thing around. So that's gonna go, the unit on the inside is gonna go, but it won't go without a lot of hard work. So, first bolt's out. It took me 10 minutes with this thing. And then Maddie's just gonna find an upgrade.
This is what we were meant to have.
I'm glad you found that because it's going to take me an hour otherwise.
To remove one of these fridges, there's so many bolts and little things that you need to undo. And of course, they don't make it easy for us.
Well, these are so much longer than people.
Some of the bolts were almost impossible to get to. And the more of them we removed, the heavier the fridge got. So here comes our friend.
And welcome into the room, dead man. Hey! Makes my life easier. From one dead man to another.
With only a few more bolts to remove and not having any more wood, we decided to nominate Toby. I'm scared.
I'm the one under it. Oh! Got it! Just about. Right. Got it? Right.
I think we're going to have a coffee break now, Toby.
Yeah! I've got it. Ready?
At this point, we thought we'd removed everything that we needed to get the fridge out. Turns out a sneaky boy still remained.
Have you got it? Got it. Why is it so heavy? I can't. It's still attached. Done? Cut it! Babe, quick! Oh my god, I'm not letting go. Okay. That's on my head. I've got to rest my arms. Hurry up, babe! They're literally back.
Are you sure this isn't
How can you not reach it? You've got a long stick.
After 5 minutes of failing to cut it and dying of laughter, the boys had to put it down where it was. It was just pure chaos because this thing was so heavy.
Ready?
No!
Whoa! Right, got it. Oh my god! I can't believe you left us holding that for about 5 minutes. Oh! That is ridiculous! That is not 20 kgs! It's more than that, definitely.
Now that we've learned how heavy these things actually are, we're so glad that we decided to remove them.
Oh my god! Look at that! It's so much bigger in here! Woo!
We didn't only have one to remove, we had two, and now after the first one, we've learned from our mistakes. We're making sure not to leave anything attached. All of the screws, bolts, and wires must go. Fixated on this, we forgot to remove the dead man.
Let's come towards me!
Though it was still ridiculously heavy, the boys got this one out in a lot more style.
Whoa! That's them gone! I can't believe how much bigger it makes it feel in there. Yo, okay, check out our empty tube over here. That was part of the fridge. The fridge is now gone. Look at the headspace in this place. We now have an empty box shell ready to start building, which is so cool. If you check out these things up here, this has a bunch of cabling from the truck, and over this side, we've stripped it out already. And we're going to reuse it and stick our own stuff in it, so it worked out pretty perfect. Maybe somehow we can integrate this with a golf course.
Okay, so that is both of the trailers stripped out, both of the fridges are gone, which is amazing. So now it's time to build the bar. However, that's not happening until next week's video, so make sure you subscribe and come and join us.
Thanks for watching.